Hey loves, welcome back to Cardinal Tarot. Today we are doing a pick a card reading, and the question that we're asking Spirit is, what is your life purpose? So each one of these piles has 5 different oracle cards in it, and then we'll get some tarot and do some clarifying and go a little bit deeper. But first, if you haven't already, make sure you're following me over on Instagram at Cardinal Tarot, and I now have a TikTok as well, Cardinal Tarot. And if you like my reading style and are interested in booking a one-on-one reading with me, you can find all the information for that at cardinalfiretarot.com. And one last thing, if you hear noises in the background, it's my dog, and I apologize in advance. So, go ahead and get started. All right, so for pile 1, we have this copper cube right here, and copper is good for increasing energy flow. And then for pile 2, we have this selenite tower. Selenite is good for cleansing and protecting. And then for pile 3, we have this mica stone. And mica is good for reducing anxiety. So go ahead, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, hold it, and deep breath out. Now, when you feel centered and ready, allow your eyes to open, and whichever pile that they're drawn to first, that's your pile. And I'll see you in that reading. Hi, pile. So for those of you who resonated with the copper cube, this is going to be your reading. So the first oracle card that we have says Earthed. And it says learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. So straight off the bat, if this is the pile that you chose, you are extremely spiritually advanced. Either you've had a lot of lifetimes here on Earth and you have evolved and grown, or you're like a star seed or something like that, where you're just coming to the Earth to improve it and to influence the people here. For the second card, we have the royal you. So this speaks to that higher you who is extremely evolved and who has gone through the lessons already. So you are an old soul for sure. Like you've done your time, you have done, I don't know how many lifetimes. And so now you're a little bit higher than the new souls, the fresh souls, the young souls, you know? For the third card, we have Shapeshifter, and it says transform and unveil your gifts. So you're having to learn to take your core essence, this very evolved spiritual being that you are, and learn how to be human, which is not an easy task because, as we all know, humans are wonderfully flawed, and the human experience is a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. And so, if you are used to the spirit world and you're used to peace and tranquility and love, then coming to Earth is going to be a shock, right? It's going to be like a culture shock, kind of. And you're going to have to learn how to transform and how to enmesh yourself into this lifetime and this current reality. Then we have balance. And it says, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. So that's balancing your higher self with your human self. So I'm sure you've heard the term integrating shadow. So you have the spiritual people who are like love and light and positive vibes only, and there is something to be said for that. I'm not trying to like talk shit right now. That is one way of looking at it. But then there's also integrating your shadow, which is instead of love and light and good vibes only, it's authentic vibes. You show up as you are. You accept your flawed nature because that's what being human is. It's being flawed. And you learn how to work with what you have, you know? And lastly, we have Scorpion. So this card is kind of about like um kind of like making sure you're not lashing out at other people or that you're not projecting your frustrations onto the people around you and making sure that you're like really keeping yourself in check. So what I get from this with all these other cards is that you're probably not having the easiest time in this human experience, which is completely understandable, right? Like this is all brand new to you, or if it's not brand new, it's wildly different than your spiritual self. Even if you've had lifetimes before, you have evolved and you have grown. So to come back to this human experience, I can't imagine is the most pleasant experience. It's going to be difficult, and it's going to be a an adjustment. So just make sure that when you face challenges and turmoil and uncomfortability, that you're not projecting that onto others, that you are not spreading the hurt around, that you are feeling it and accepting it and working through it. So, go ahead and get some tarot. I want to start by clarifying this Earthed card. Learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. I was going to use a different tarot deck for these readings, and I tried to shuffle this, and twice in a row, when I was trying to shuffle them, I just lost my grip and they went flying everywhere. So I took that as a not the right deck for this. So I went ahead and switched, and we are using the Light Seers Tarot. So clarifying first, we have the Ten of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, the Nine of Cups, the Emperor, and the Nine of Pentacles. You probably are not very interested in material things. So like designer clothes, the newest car, the best iPhone, like you probably don't really care about that stuff very much. And it's because like consumerism is very low vibrational, right? So if you're a high vibrational being, you're not going to align with it. However, not aligning with consumerism can make you really feel like an outsider because our world is so revolved around money and spending. I mean, people go and work 40 plus hours a week so that they can go and buy whatever they want. When in reality, the earth gives us everything that we would need if we could just learn to accept it. You also probably have a very emotionless aura. No, aura's not right, but probably others see you as somewhat emotionless, somewhat masked. And the reason being is because you feel your emotions internally. And I think you've probably been working on this, not projecting it onto others. So you are very good at maintaining the calm and maintaining the serenity. When most people's lives are going, yours are probably just going right there in the middle, you know? Because you know, to some degree, whether you've actually looked into this or not, either your subconscious or you actually know now that this reality is an illusion, right? I mean, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So a lot of the shit that we get so involved and worked up in means little to nothing, you know, in the grand scheme of everything. And so you have that, which keeps you probably pretty mellow and centered. Then we have the Nine of Cups with the Nine of Pentacles, which means you're probably pretty good. I mean, in general at life. Because Nine of Cups speaks to like wish fulfillment. So you are good at discerning what you want, going for it, and achieving it. And the Nine of Pentacles speaks to like independent wealth and stability and financial freedom. So you probably are also extremely self-reliant, that you don't need other people. You can create the life you want. You probably are pretty good at manifesting. So if you put it out in the universe, it comes into this reality pretty quickly. So that's what I have with the Earth card. Let's go ahead and clarify this Royal You card. Oh, they all flew out right there. Okay, so we have Six of Cups, King of Wands, Page of Pentacles, Justice, and Tower. Hmm. Remember when we were saying the shock of coming to Earth? That's this Tower moment. You went from the divine being that you are to getting thrown into this. You know, it's not really good or bad, it's just different. And it provides us a beautiful opportunity to learn, but it doesn't feel as good, right? That's the spirit world. So that Tower moment was very shocking to you, I'm sure. And all of this, you know, can be happening within the subconscious. So you don't even necessarily have to be aware, but it's still going to influence you and it's still going to project out into your life. Then we have the Six of Cups with Justice. So these two together make me think of like you are coming here. So Six of Cups speaks to like innocence in the past. So I'm going to put this as the royal you, as your spiritual self. So you're coming to create more harmony and more balance in this lifetime. You are coming to share your spiritual gifts with the world. Now, how does that manifest? I think that can be different for all of you. We're just trying to figure out the broad purpose. There are so many ways that you could go about doing this. And none of them are right or wrong. They're whatever you are, you know, called to do, right? Then we have the Page of Pentacles with the King of Wands. You prioritize your passion and your spark and your creativity and your drive and your motivation over your stability, your finances, your career, your, you know, material things. And the reason being, like we already spoke of back here, is because you know those things don't hold much value. What does hold value art, poetry, literature, you know, um, helping others, teaching, being a shoulder to cry on, being a mentor, like those kind of things. Whichever one that like speaks to you and your heart just lights up, that's that's what matters. Way more than like your tangible. So, whereas we were saying back here with this Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, that you're probably doing pretty good at life, I think that's still true for most of you. But there could also be a few of you who have just simply transcended the need for material. So if you are struggling with finances, or I don't even know if struggle's the right word, just don't really care that much, it's because you know it's not. Good grief. I hope y'all couldn't hear that. He just like groaned and rolled over so dramatically. Anyways, it's because you know that this is a dream. Yes, I mean, we're in the Matrix. Like, this life is just a little fraction of who we are. So that's what I have for that card. Let's go ahead and get some clarifiers for this shapeshifter. So, clarifying shapeshifter, we have make some sense of. Sorry, I don't know why I'm like this, but if there's like a mess on the table, I feel the need to fix it. Okay. So for shapeshifter, we have King of Cups, the Three of Wands, Four of Swords, the Chariot, and Temperance. You are having to bring the divine. Okay, this is my visual for this. You have this lasso, right? And you've got it thrown over into the divine, into the love, into source, and you're the one sitting there dragging it down here to earth. Okay? So the temperance, if you can see, he has those wings behind him. Like, that is balance, tranquility, love. So that speaks to your higher self, to your divine being. And then you've got the King of Cups, who is meditating and radiating energy from his heart chakra right there. And so that is bringing this white light of the temperance into the physical. And then you've got the Chariot, which speaks to movement and to love. So you're taking this energy and you're alchemizing it into action, into this reality, into every single decision, conversation, everything you do has the divine loving energy attached to it. And that's the driving force. That's the horses pulling the chariot. And then we've got the Three of Wands with the Four of Swords, which means that you can see the vision. I'm sure whether you've actually sat down with pen and paper and like planned it out, I'm sure most of you haven't done that. But you have the vision of like spreading love, of there being, harmony and peace and all of that. But you also know that it's not going to happen overnight, which is where this Four of Swords comes in. Because the Three of Wands is like a lower level manifestation card. Because it's having the vision and being able to see it, but it hasn't come quite yet. Whereas the Two of Wands is being open for the vision, but you don't really know what it is. And then the Three of Wands is when it's more decided in your mind. But then the Four of Swords is the card of rest, of recharging, of pausing. So you see the vision, but it's going to take some time. And so the shapeshifter is being able to balance that divine energy that you're lassoing in with the human experience that you're having right now. And sometimes you'll need to lean more on the divine, and sometimes you'll need to lean more on the human. It's probably never going to be an equal 50-50 balance, but you do the best you can. You know, you follow your intuition, and just know that there is light and love in this world, even if sometimes it's very easy to forget it because of all of the pain and all of the corruptness. Yeah, that's a word. And all of that. It's sometimes it's hard to remember, but it is here, and you're one of the people bringing it here. That's what I have for the shapeshifter card. Go ahead and get some clarifiers for balance. And just to remind you, the balance card says, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. So clarifying balance, we have the Two of Swords, death, and rebirth. This deck does death and rebirth together as a one card. The Three of Cups, the World, and the Magician. Ooh, okay. Remember that being grounded in this reality and pulling in the love and light? Two of Swords speaks to a lot of the times indecision and a crossroads. But if you think of a crossroads, it's the point between two directions. You know? Which, if any of you do any sort of work with the goddess Hecate, she is the goddess of crossroads. So she is the link between the underworld and the physical realm. So it's very much that crossroad energy where you're stuck in the middle and having to create a balance between the two. So, also, if that's something that interests you, do some research into Hecate. I mean, I personally resonate a lot with her. And then we've got the Three of Cups, which is celebration and friendship and community. And so you see how all of them are looking at the stars up there in that card? Like, you're finding the people who resonate with you and you're pulling them in to your light. You are helping them. You are, showing them the way. You are finding your soul tribe. Which then brings us to these three major arcana cards. So, Death and Rebirth and the World are extremely similar cards. Because the world speaks to the ending of a cycle, which would then be the beginning of a new cycle. And death speaks to an ending, which would then be rebirth, the new beginning. So, for the star seeds and the light workers and the spiritually evolved beings in this reality, you are here to help end the current reality and build the new world, which it's the age of Aquarius right now, which if you haven't done any research on that, I would recommend that as well. But age of Aquarius is a rebirth period, you know? It's when these corrupt politicians and all the wars and, just, I don't even want to get all of it, when it starts to simmer down and be overtaken by light and be overtaken by source and be overtaken by peace and calmness and tranquility. So definitely would be something to look into. I went to a metaphysical fair not that long ago, and bless their hearts, there was some older gentleman at the front of a table, and I had never heard of the Age of Aquarius. I had no idea. But that's what they were speaking on, and so they caught me. And while I very much appreciate them for sharing their knowledge with me, they also have the air of conspiracy theorists to them. They got the bug eyes, and we're looking at this and this and this, and we did research over here. I mean, and just their energy was very conspiracy theorist like. So I took it with a grain of salt. And then I went home and I did my own research on it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that actually makes sense in my brain. But when they were saying it, I was like, what are they talking about? Anyways, and then we have the magician, which, if you look at this death and rebirth card, it's got the infinity sign right there in between the two words. And the magician has the infinity sign on her hood right there. So, magician is manifestation. That's you using your vibrational frequency to co-create your reality with source. And what is the building of the new world? It's creating a new reality. And what an honor. Like, I know it can be daunting a lot of the times, probably, and you can feel very alienated and very out of place. But what an honor to get to be a part of that. All right, so let's go ahead and clarify our last card, which is Scorpion. Now he's over there snoring. I just rescued this dog. He was a stray that came up to our house a couple months ago, and his adjustment period has just been so stressful. He is very, very big, and he is very, very hyper, and he is very untrained. And so if you combine all three of those together, and then you take a stray dog who's used to running the streets, and you contain him, but I'm so grateful because we got over the worst of it. And now I love him so freaking much. He's my little cuddle partner. So definitely worth it, but he's giving me some gray hairs, that's for sure. All right. So, clarifying the Scorpion, we have the Seven of Pentacles, the Lovers, the Queen of Cups, the Sun, and the King of Pentacles. You know how we were, which pile was it? This one. Yes, this one. You know how we were saying with the Four Swords that it's going to take time, that it's not going to change overnight, that there's going to be, just like I was saying with Harlow, like some rough chapters before you get to the other side where it's better. That is the same sort of energy that's coming through with the Seven of Pentacles. It is you are planting the seeds for the future. So if you don't see the results yet, it doesn't mean that they're not growing, that they're not making a difference. Then you have the Lovers, which can oftentimes, I mean, a lot of people read it as romantically, which it can be that, but it doesn't have to be. But it oftentimes speaks to a choice, but it can also speak to simply duality. So you've got masculine and feminine in the Lovers. You've got both. And you've got divinity and humanity. And you're smack dab in the middle of both those. And so it speaks to your duality here. Like you are not of this world, but you're here right now. Which is just reiterated with this Queen of Cups, King of Pentacles, because Queen of Cups speaks to feminine, speaks to emotion, speaks to love, it speaks to light. And the King of Pentacles speaks to masculine, speaks to material, financial, earth energy. Like they're very polar opposites. Then we have the Sun. It has to be extremely uncomfortable to be stuck in between these two, which we've already been speaking on throughout the entire reading. But do you see how the Scorpion's tail is like that flash of light? And then the Sun card is also like that flash of light. So it's like finding the balance between the two and finding how to integrate your shadow and how to be the shapeshifter and go back and forth. In doing that, you're going to take this frustration and this fire and this not that nice energy, and you're going to transmute it into joy and happiness. Because you can't have yin without yang. You can't have masculine without feminine. You know, we live a life of duality, and you especially, for where you're at. So, that is what I have for you, Pile One. I hope you resonated with the message, and please let me know down below in the comments if you did, and like the video, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you. Hi, Pile Two. So for those of you who were drawn to the Selenite Tower, this is going to be your reading, and the question that we're asking once again is, what is your life purpose? So the first card that we have says, I'm sorry. It says defenselessness, riding past wrongs, and uprooting. So, straight off the bat, this makes me feel like this you have past karma that you need to release and work through. Um, you know, we can carry karma from one life to the next to the next, but then if you don't remember the past life, it can seem, you know, like, why is this happening to me kind of feeling. But it's because your soul, not who you are right now, because that's just a little fraction of your soul, but your soul needs to learn these lessons, and they weren't able to do it in the previous lifetimes. And the next card we have is willing release. So this is you working through that karma and you being willing to evolve to a higher frequency and to let go of anything holding you back. Sorry, that smoke is going right in my face. Um, just willing to change. The next card in the pile is Seer, and it says see beyond the current situation. So how I was just saying how it can feel really unfair. I think for a lot of you, this is probably going to seem like a difficult lifetime. You definitely have faced some struggles, some hardships, some heartbreaks, some, pain along the way, and it could very much feel like, why me? But if you look beyond and you see the lessons and not just the negative, then you can transmute and you can grow and you can overcome the challenges that you're facing. The next card that we have is doubt, and it says, I release the need to know all the answers. So just like we were saying with this. So how this card was seeing beyond the current situation and knowing that there's more, this card speaks to that faith because you have to maintain faith that the future that you're working towards is a possibility. And that's hard because it's not right in front of your face. So to maintain faith in something invisible and something that's not tangible, that's difficult. It's a challenge. You have to, I personally, that's one I have to work on all the time. All the time. Because it's so easy to think that you got forgotten or that, life is against you and all this other stuff and whatever it is that you think. And to maintain that knowing that the universe is conspiring in your favor, even when it doesn't seem like it, is very, very hard. And then the last oracle card that we had is Panther. And in this deck, this is, it's Kim Crayons. It's, I think, Animal Spirit deck. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. The Panther is a card of purging. So, that's all of these cards. What we've been talking about is you're releasing this past karma so that you can finally drop the past, purge out the old, and move on to new, bigger, better things. So, let's go ahead and get some clarifiers on these cards. I'm going to start with the I'm sorry card. And I was going to use a different tarot deck when I was planning out this video. And I tried to shuffle it, and twice, cards just went everywhere. I tried to shuffle it, I fumbled, there was cards everywhere, I picked them all up, tried to shuffle again, did the same thing. So I took that as it wasn't the right deck for this reading, so today we're using the Lightseers Tarot deck. It's like the one that flipped over right there. Oh, this one obviously really wants to come out, so I'll put that one in there too. All right, so let's see what we got. For I'm sorry, we have Five of Cups, the Three of Swords, the Eight of Wands, the Knight of Swords, the Page of Swords, and the Seven of Pentacles. Okay. Five of Cups. This is grief. This is loss. This is, mourning. Three of Pentacles. This is heartbreak. This is emotional pain. This is betrayal. This is all of that. So, the hardships that you're facing in this life, the endings that you're needing to mourn, the pain that needs to be healed, anything that's like stacked against you, you're working towards shedding it. And the Eight of Wands can sometimes be a card of communication, but it's also just a card of fast forward movement. And by tackling all of your karmic debts, you get to then like say you're going this slow, when you finally release those and you have that weight off you, you're gonna go pew. And that's what this Eight of Swords is. That's that energy. The Knight of Swords, same thing. See how he's running? Like get once you receive the lesson that's supposed to be learned, it's going to happen for you so quick. And it's going to feel very foreign because you have had to fight tooth and nail your whole life probably to, survive because you haven't had it easy. Then we have the Page of Swords with the Seven of Pentacles. And the Page of Swords was the one that I tried to put away and then it fell in my lap again. Page of Swords speaks to curiosity. Do you see how she's reading that book? And then the Seven of Pentacles is a card of planting seeds. So, once you release this karmic debt and this weight and everything that you need to release, then you get to look at the world with new eyes. You done planted the seeds already and did the work. So that's already done. You're doing that right now. And then you get to look at the world with fresh eyes and with this curious nature instead of in survival mode. So the Page of Swords is actually, even though it's a page, I'm taking this as a very, very positive card because it's fresh, it's new, it's young, youthful gaze upon life. All right, so that was that card. Go ahead and get some clarifiers on the willing release card. All right, so clarifying willing release. We have the Two of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. This is a release of control. So you're wanting to release your, karmic debts. That's part of it. But then that faith that we were talking about with these two cards here, to have faith is to let go of control, to drop the reins and let life and the universe do what they're going to do. And so this Queen of Pentacles here, if you can see her expression, she is so serene and peaceful and calm because she's earth energy. She is grounded. And so that grounded, solid knowing that things are going to work out brings this level of serenity that you have never experienced before. But in order for you to hit that point where you release the need to control, you have to be willing to not see the future. I release the need to know all the answers. That's what this Scout card says. Two of Wands is the card of possibilities. Three of Wands is you know what you're looking for and you're going to get it. Two of Wands, you're just looking out there like that curiosity that we were talking about with the Page of Swords. It's very similar energy to the Two of Wands coming through. It's like there's a whole world out there. I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing, but it's there. So that willingness to not know the future. And you've got the Nine of Wands, which is the Wounded Warrior card. And that is putting up your shield and your defenses and not letting anybody in and not allowing yourself to be vulnerable. That's not going to get you anywhere. You have to show up and be open and willing and, take it day by day. But You have to show up for yourself. So when these two things are accomplished, when you've let down your guard and you've released the need to control, you're going to see movement. We now have 3 knights out on the table already. And knights, for me, are almost always movement. They're action. So we got the Knight of Cups, which is your emotional well-being, your love, your relationships, um, your feelings, stuff like that. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is your money, your stability, your career, things like that. Your health falls under the Knight of Pentacles as well. And then we already had the Knight of Swords back here, which was learning and being extremely methodical in your actions, being willing to learn, and, just taking a logical approach to life. So, these 3 cards, plus the Eight of Wands that came out over here, we got nothing but movement on the table for you. Like, I know you're probably watching this reading and you're like, you're so full of shit. Because I can see it. Like, I can see where you have just hit these struggles. And of course you're worn out. Of course you are. Like, you've hit one roadblock after another. But I'm telling you, when it does decide, when you are ready and the universal timing is right, and things start to change, they're going to change so quickly and so extremely. Like, everything's going to change. Your life is going to do a complete 180. All right, let's go ahead and get clarifiers for the Seer card here. Grab the one that fell on the floor. Ooh, there it is. Sorry for the sound effects. All right, so clarifying this Seer card, we have the Nine of Swords, the Four of Cups, the Two of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, and the Page of Wands. All this is a lot of heavy energy. None of these 4 cards are that extreme by themselves, but when you have all 4 of these showing up, it's a lot. It's a lot to bear. So let's break it down. Nine of Swords. This is the card of anxiety and rumination and sleepless nights and, just constant wheels turning in your mind. Four of Cups. This is the card of apathy, of not really caring, disinterested, not satisfied, those kind of emotions. Two of Swords. This is being at a crossroads, not being able to decide which way to go, feeling very unsure, not knowing, where you're heading and what the future is. You got the Four of Pentacles, which is a card of lack mindset. That is a card of mine, because you don't feel like there's enough to go around. Four of Pentacles also can speak to clinging on to expired people, places, things that you need to release, but not being willing. So, these cards all are falling under the see beyond the current situation. So, this is your current situation, and it's a lot. It's a lot. But, let me bet these two that came out. Page of Wands. So we just had the Page of Swords over here, which was that curiosity, that fresh. Page of Wands, that's exciting energy. That's passionate energy. That's first date energy, or new creative project energy, or starting a new job and being so excited about the opportunity, like that kind of energy. And then we have the Seven of Cups, which is a lower level of manifestation than the Magician, but it's still a manifestation card because look at him. He's looking at all those cups and he's like, I don't know. I guess I'll choose this one. But he has options. He has options. And so if you can see past the negativity and you can find something that sets your heart on fire, something that makes you excited, something that makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. If you find that and manifest it, it's game over. All of this will fall to the wayside because you have options. You aren't stuck here. You're stuck here in this cycle until you learn what you need to learn. But as soon as you can release and let go, I feel like I've said the same thing over and over in this reading, but it's true. All of this is just about you releasing. Then your options will show up. And you do have multiple options. Okay, that is that card. Go ahead and clarify this doubt card here. All right, so clarifying this doubt card, we have the Five of Swords, the Four of Swords, the King of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, and the Six of Pentacles. It's like, so this doubt speaks to, the same, I mean, the exact same thing that we were talking with the Nine of Wands. It's, you've been hurt, so you're shutting down. The Five of Swords is oftentimes like a win at all costs kind of card. But in this particular deck, do you see how he's like holding his head like he has a migraine or something? Like his thoughts are getting the best of him. So we have this Nine of Swords over here where, it was that ruminating and the thoughts. Like you are doubting that this phase of your life will ever end. The Four of Swords is the card of rest and pausing and, non-movement. She is fast asleep in that card. But then we have the Ten of Swords. While the Ten of Swords is extremely painful, I mean, in the original Rider-Waite deck, sorry, in the original Rider-Waite deck, that was really hard to say. Anyway, the guy is laying on the ground dead with 10 swords sticking out of his back. Like, overkill to the max. But it also speaks to the completion, because this is the end of the sword suit, unless, I mean, then we get into the, oh my god, I just went blank. Court cards. Then you get into the court cards. But look at how her back is turned to us. She is walking away because all the pain and the heartache, it's done now. It hurt, but it's done. And we're moving on to bigger and better. And so you have this doubt that this chapter of your life is going to end, which makes you extremely weary to give your energy, your time, your, resources, anything. Because back to this Four of Pentacles, you don't think there's enough for you. So what you do have, you're not going to share mine like kind of energy. But we have now had the King and the Queen of Pentacles show up. When the same suit, court card, King and Queen show up in a reading, for me it speaks to a soul connection. Now, a lot of the times it is romantic, but it doesn't have to be. But what it is it's a person who you've had multiple lifetimes with. Like, this isn't, you guys have a soul tie, and you've gone through lives together. So, if you're closed off and you're not letting anybody in, then you're not going to let in the people who are going to support you, who are going to love you. And you know what? You may not have even met these people yet. Like, there's so much of your life that hasn't happened yet. Not to mention everything that happened in previous lives and, all of that. There is so much that has yet to happen in this timeline, in this reality, that you don't know. If you're open and you're willing, some amazing opportunities and some amazing people could show up for you. And I think that level of support probably feels somewhat foreign to you. So it's hard to think that it's real. You have your doubts, but I'm telling you, you're working through this, and you will work through it, and you will come out on the other side better for having done so. All right, let's go ahead and clarify the last card, which is the Panther. Remember, that was the card of like purging and letting go. All right, so clarifying the Panthers, we have the Fool, the World, the Magician, the Star, the Seven of Swords, and the Lovers. Y'all saw me shuffle, right? I just pulled 5 major arcanas for you. I can't even. That's wild. Okay. So, the Fool is card 0. The major arcana is the first, I think it's 28, don't quote me on that. 28 cards, or however many cards in the deck. And it's thought that each card is like a lesson or a chapter or whatever. And so it tells a story, which is the Fool's journey is through those cards. So, very first card, card 0, before the journey has even started, she hasn't made it off the cliff yet. She hasn't taken the leap of faith, but she's going to. And it's going to result in the snowball effect. Then you have the World, which is card 21. So I guess there's 22 major arcana because the Fool is 0. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay. The World is the last. So we have the very first major arcana and we have the very last major arcana. The World is the ending of a cycle, which in this deck, I really like how it's depicted. See if I can find it real quick. No, okay. So, death is the card of endings, right? Doesn't have to be literal death. But in this deck specifically, it says death and rebirth because every ending is a beginning. So, as you close out this cycle of karmic debt and, learning lessons and going through hardship, you open the door for the next cycle. And all of this is divinely orchestrated. All of this is meant for you. It is your journey, your path. Nothing in this lifetime is a coincidence. Nothing. So the star, see how she's like looking up at the sky? Like she knows that there is a place for her. She knows that spirit is guiding her. She knows that she is where she's supposed to be at this moment in time. You are always exactly where you need to be to either blossom and grow and bloom, or to get knocked down and learn how to do better next time. So then that brings us to the Magician, which, how we were just saying, Seven of Cups is a lower level manifestation card than the Magician. The Magician is being able to take an idea and work cohesively with higher level energies, with the universe, with source, with love. It doesn't matter the terminology. And being able to co-create that in this reality. Now, one major thing about manifesting is, we're talking about this. Well, whatever, doesn't matter what card. We were saying that you have to be like open and willing, and you're ready. You have to be willing to like drop the reins and release control. I mean, if you have such a rigid idea of what you want, which means I will live in this house and I will marry this person and I will have this career and I will do it this, if you have that rigid of guidelines, you leave no room for the universe to work its magic. Now, if your manifestations are more like, I want to be financially secure, I want to have a career where I am emotionally abundant and I care about and I am more than happy to devote my energy to. I want to have loving people around me who are there to support me and, want to spend their time and energy on me, with me, more like open-ended stuff like that. That's where the magic happens, because the universe can come up with ways to deliver your manifestations that you are beyond your wildest dreams. So let it. Let it. And then we have the Lovers, which is a card of duality. So you've got like yin and yang energy, masculine, feminine energy. So the duality of letting go in order to bring in the new opportunity, letting go of the old to make space for the new. That duality is your sweet spot. That's when this Eight of Wands, fast, rapid change, movement, momentum is going to happen. And the Seven of Swords is a very deceptive, like sneaky kind of energy. I mean, how many crappy major arcanas came out just in that last pull? You are in a monumental chapter of your life. And you have no idea. Because all you see is what's right in front of you, which is hardship and struggle and, shitty situations. But it's a turning point. And it is a very fundamental chapter in your journey and in your growth. So even though you can't see it that way, it is. So that is what I have for you, pile 2. If you resonate, please let me know down below in the comments, and I would love if you would like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Bye. Hi, Pile 3. So for those of you who resonated with the mica crystal, this is going to be your reading. And the first card that we have is Empathetic Starseed. And it says, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. So straight off the bat, you are an empath, which is an extreme blessing and honor that feels really shitty a lot of the times. And the reason it feels shitty is because people don't realize that they're an empath, and they're absorbing everybody else's energy. So, they go to work and then they come home and they feel like shit. Well, they've been absorbing all of their coworkers' negativity all day without consciously realizing it. They go to the grocery store, they go anywhere. Like, you're like a sponge. And so without knowing and without, working towards putting up boundaries, it becomes extremely exhausting. And it's oftentimes this weird duality, like you really care about people and simultaneously you hate to be around people. That's what being an empath feels like. But being an empath allows you to reach such a higher level of healing because you can intuitively know what is going on with somebody's, mental space, their emotions, and that knowing puts you way ahead of the game as far as healing and aiding humanity. All right, so then the next card we have is the power of purpose. So, this is empathetic starseed. You came to this reality, this life, this moment to help the people around you heal. That is your purpose. That is your purpose. I mean, that's what empaths do, as they're healers. And so, how that manifests in this lifetime, it can be wildly different. Some of you can be therapists, but some of you can be, I don't know, cops, and you're putting bad guys in jail, or firefighter, and you're saving people's lives, or it can be you could be a teacher, you could be a mentor of children, like so many different ways that can happen. And all of those fall under like healing and helping and aiding others. And that, I mean, we're 2 cards in, that's your purpose. But we're gonna figure it, and we're gonna get more on that. But that's why you came to this lifetime. If you are an empath, you came to heal. And the next card we have is Wise One. And it says, grow within your current situation. Do you see how in this card she is reflected as the crone? So, for those of you who aren't familiar, oftentimes in New Age thinking or, the occult thinking, or I don't know the terminology, but in woo-woo shit, the the divine feminine is portrayed as the maiden, the mother, and the crone, which are the 3 chapters of life. The maiden would be young, naive, Then the mother is the nurturing and the caring and the whatever. And then the crone is the wisdom and the life experiences. And so, if you are coming into this lifetime to heal the people around you, that means you're stepping through you are a higher vibrational frequency than most people, because that's why you were sent here, is to raise the vibration of humanity. And so you have a knowing, because you done did this probably, I don't know how many times. You've had past lifetimes. And then not to mention, anything beyond this reality. So to grow within your current situation is the fact that your soul can be, you know, very mature and very high vibrational and very loving and all of that. And your this reality, who you are right now, has no knowing of that. We encounter amnesia as we come into this lifetime in order to create this reality where we learn and grow. This is like soul school, okay? So you are having to uh, deal with the burdens of this reality coming at you constantly when this reality doesn't align with you. Because you've done your time. You have worked through this. The reason you're here is to hold others' hands while they work through it. You've already done it. But you have to remember and align with that frequency. So then the next card we have says indecision. And it says, I use my intuition in all aspects of my life. So that amnesia that we were just talking about, where you don't realize that you have transcended this level, that's what this, like, I use my intuition. You know. You just don't know you know. And so because of that, you can feel very lost. You can feel very overwhelmed. Like we were just saying, empaths, you absorb everyone's energy. So if you're not aware that you're doing it, it can seem like you're just going insane. And then on top of that, you're having to work through the trials and tribulations of this lifetime. And so you can be sitting there feeling so lost and helpless and like, what is happening? But if you could just turn off your brain and allow the knowing to come to you, like your intuition is just waiting, like it wants to take the reins because your soul knows. Your soul knows what your purpose is. Your soul knows exactly what you need to do in this lifetime, but you have to be willing to listen. Which is easier said than done. Our brains work constantly, some more than others. But meditation is the same as working out. You are working a muscle. You have to do it. You have to maintain the practice. You have to learn, different techniques and stuff like that. Like the ability to shut off your brain is just beyond words helpful, but it's also very hard to do, and it takes some devotion to accomplish it. And then the last oracle card we have is the Gazelle. And the Gazelle in this deck is about like being words. Being too on edge and being too distrustful of the world around you and hypervigilant. That's the word I was looking for, hypervigilant. So, if you're sitting there absorbing everyone's energies and thinking you're going insane, you're going to be hypervigilant, like because you are feeling so much that you're going to have your guard up naturally. Naturally, you will have your guard up. But in order to allow the intuition and the knowing and the higher self to come in, you have to figure out how to let this guard down, which the first step would be boundaries. But let's go ahead and get some clarifiers on these cards. We'll see what else wants to come out. So I'm going to start by clarifying the empathetic starseed. I was going to use a different deck for these readings, and as I was shuffling it and like setting up the camera and stuff, twice cards just went everywhere. I was shuffling, I lost my grip. They went flying all over the room. Like, I'm not being dramatic, all over the room. Granted, it's a small room. And then I picked them all up off the ground and went to shuffle again and did the exact same thing. So I was like, okay, not the right deck. That's fine. So for this reading, we have the Light Seers Tarot, and that is the deck that I'm using. All right, so clarifying empathetic starseed, we have the Four of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups. Okay, so straight off the out, whoa, words. In my defense, it's like pretty late at night right now. um, but anyways, like there is the duality of yin energy and yang energy, which can also be described as like masculine and feminine. Healing is a very feminine energy. You have two queens coming out straight off the bat. Queen of Pentacles, this is a very balanced, very nurturing, very grounded kind of energy. And then Queen of Cups, this is a very emotionally sound, very loving, very open energy. So you have this divine feminine within you, which is what makes you such a good healer. And even if you are a man or however you identify, you still can have that divine energy integrated into your being, you know? But it's like this lifetime, you're just here to help others. You just are here to help others. So then we've got this Four of Pentacles, Six of Cups, Ten of Pentacles down here. The Four of Pentacles, it's kind of like this energy of holding yourself back from the world. And let me explain that a little further. So the Four of Pentacles traditionally is like a mind sort of possessive, clinging energy. But if you're an empath and you, every time you step outside your front door, get slaughtered by, just nonstop negativity and emotion, you're going to retreat within. But in doing so, you may think you're just isolating and that's the end of it. But you're actually keeping this healing from the people who need it if you're not putting yourself out there and stepping into the position to help them. Then we have the Six of Cups, which is the energy of like childhood innocence. And it speaks to me, especially with, if you can see in this card, like those three really bright stars there in the pink. So you're, before this lifetime, you were a starseed. You were very high vibrational, very spiritually evolved, very filled with love and light and all of that. So you're here to share that energy, which is a very fresh energy. So I don't really want to say like naive because that has a negative connotation to it, but it's untainted energy. Whereas here in this reality, in this lifetime, there's a lot of negativity and low vibrational things that can bombard us, right? But that's why you're here, is to take the divine energy and spread it. And Ten of Pentacles just speaks to the stability, the grounding, the secure and safe space that you are capable of creating. All right, let's go ahead and get some clarifiers on the power of purpose. I'll take them all. All right, let's see what we got. So clarifying the power of purpose, we have the Five of Swords, the Magician, the Four of Swords, the Tower, Judgment, and the Ace of Swords. We just had three major arcana come out. Pile 2 right before this reading had 4 come out in one pull. We are speaking on life purposes, which is very deep, whereas the minor arcana tends to be like day-to-day stuff. The major arcana is like soul lessons and that kind of stuff. And that is like the topic of this whole reading, right? So, the power of purpose. Your purpose is to heal and to spread light and to spread love. So look at these two energies. Yes, but pictures is what I meant. Do you see that both of them have, I can't think of the dude's name, but the spiral. And she has light coming from the center. So this is you taking this, just unimaginable purpose, this huge, important, sacred purpose, and pulling it into this lifetime through you, through your soul and your intuition and your knowing. You are bringing it into this reality. Now, let's look at the Tower, the Magician, and Judgment. So the Tower moment for you is most likely the transition between being bombarded and overwhelmed about being an empath to transmuting that into purpose and drive and the wisdom to show up as yourself, as an empath, authentically, but to still maintain your sovereignty at the same time. And so that is going to create a lot of changes because you're closing out one cycle and you're opening another one, right? And within those changes, that's what the Tower moment is. A lot of people look at it as like a really scary card. Oh no, the Tower came out. It means sudden, big life changes. which a lot of times is scary, but sometimes it's good. Like you're leveling up, like you have to release the old in order to take a step further towards who you are. Then we got the Magician and the Judgment with that, with the Tower, which is judgment speaks to karma and justice and law and all of that. So if you step up to the challenge and you release the old and you are ready to walk into the new, you are capable of manifesting your highest potential. And your reality around you will reflect that judgment. Right now, you feel overwhelmed. You feel like your nerves are frayed. You feel on edge. So guess what you're creating? More of that. When you learn to, what is it? Observe, don't absorb. Observe, but don't absorb. I tell you what, it's been a while back, but I went and did Reiki classes, like to become a practitioner, right? And the first time I ever did Reiki on somebody, and I tell you, I thought I was going to faint. I was so lightheaded and just sick feeling after I did it. And I remember going home and just being like, yeah, this shit's for the birds. I don't know what that was, but not doing it again. Because everything that I was trying to heal within her, I was soaking it all in. It was just I was taking all of it on. And it's on a subconscious level. You don't even realize you're doing it. But it's so easy to do unless you are aware. So, which then leads to the Five of Swords and the Four of Swords. You came here to heal. I'm going to say that statement like at least 50 more times during this reading. But you came here to heal. So the Five of Swords is like a win at all cost kind of card. So you may be in your resting phase, in your the calm before the storm, the recharging, the learning and setting boundaries and that kind of phase right now. But you came here to heal. So a lot of times this is actually taken as like a negative connotation. I mean, just look at its expression. But I'm taking it as you will find your way and you will find your your I want to say like mode of communication, but I don't think that's even right. Your unique, authentic way of healing. Like there is no question about it. I mean, you can drag this part out, this, anxiety, overwhelmness. You can drag that out as long as you want to. It's your star seed. So at the end of the day, you are going to help humanity. Hold on one second. Sorry, that candle is about to catch that bowl on fire. So, no matter what, you're going to find a way to reach your potential, to show up. I mean, and then the judgment speaks to whether it's sooner or later, Either way, it's going to happen. That's why you're here. All right, let's go ahead and get some clarifiers on this Wise One card. All right, so clarifying the wise one, we have the Two of Wands, Justice, the Hanged Man, the Moon, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Two of Swords. Okay, so that's what, 6 major arcana out on the table now? Okay, so grow within your current situation. Two of Wands is the card of unknowing openness. And what I mean by that is look at that girl in the image. She's staring out the window with her globe and her map. Like she is dreaming of conquering the world, of traveling, of, all of these experiences. But she doesn't have the vision yet. She doesn't know where she's going to go. She doesn't know what she's going to do. She's still sitting there just dreaming about it. But it's the intention to do so. So, just like she doesn't know where she's going to travel to, you have yet to learn why you're here in this exact moment, in this exact timeline, in this exact reality. So, you are the crone. You've been through this, you are high vibrational. But you have to bring that energy into this level. And it's very hard to do if you don't even recognize that you can tap into that energy. So then we have Justice, Hangman, the Moon. Do you see how Justice is holding the scales? In almost every tarot deck, Justice has the scales. Rider-Waite is the same way. That is creating that balance. You are lifting the scale of love and lowering the scale of hatred, blame, confrontation, war, whatever, all the bad stuff. You're a part of that shift, of that balance. Then we have the Hangman and the Moon. So, when you recognize how powerful you are and how capable you are and how needed you are, you're going to have a shift in perspective. And when that perspective shifts, it's going to open the door to so many unseen depths. What I mean by that is, see how her hand's like touching the water there in the Hangman? She's just barely skimming the surface. But beneath the surface, there's a whole nother world going on. When you recognize your potential, you can then tap into this world. And it's going to open the door because you're going to be able to access so much more. But you need the intention to do so. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is the card of, like, I always say, like, boss bitch energy. It's like independent, abundant, it's just like, I have my own money, I don't need you kind of energy. And so it very much speaks to crone energy. Nine of Pentacles is, I've got this, I can support myself, I'm abundant, I'm successful. I mean, the crone energy is, I done seen it all. I'm good. I know not everything, but I know a lot, kind of thing. So these two cards are projecting like a very similar energy, which is you rooted in the knowing of who you are. But you have to, I said these cards were you rooted in the knowing of who you are. To get to that, you have to take the blindfold off and recognize who you are. and what you're capable of and your potential. Right now, you're blindfolded. Like, you are just skimming the surface. You are blindfolded. You are not even looking out the window. Nope, closing myself off. But, like, as soon as you take that blindfold off, it's just going to shift astronomically. All right, let's go ahead and get clarifiers for the indecision card. And just to remind you, it says, I use my intuition in all aspects of my life. That rooted in the knowing of who you are. That's intuition. All right, so clarifying indecision, we have the Three of Swords, the Five of Cups. That combination right there, those two cards came out in one of the other readings. I don't remember if it was pile one or pile two, but that same combination. We have the King of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, the World, and the Seven of Cups. So if you're keeping track, that's 7 major arcanas now. So you are, I don't even know where I want to start with this. This is a lot going on right now. Let's start with the World. So the World is the very last major arcana card. And what this is speaking to is ending cycles. But every time you end a cycle, you're also beginning a new cycle, right? You're leveling up, you're leveling up, you're leveling up. So, as an empath, your purpose is to end this universal cycle that we're in order to open up a new cycle for everyone, for all of the reality to evolve to. Okay? So, that's this card, the Seven of Pentacles. So, whereas your actions may seem to not have results right now, especially because you haven't tapped into the full of who you are. But if you don't see results right now, that doesn't mean it's not working. You are planting the seeds for this cycle to end. You are putting in your part. Then the Seven of Cups, which is a lower manifestation card, it's also, I mean, it's the card of like delusions and, lack of reality. But, I mean, that's delusion and manifesting are synonymous in my book. I don't know. It just depends on who's looking at it. But do you see? Now he gets to choose any one of those bowls he wants. That's you walking into this life and picking what future you want to plant the seeds for. You get to pick love. You get to pick source. You get to pick light and, fairness and equality and all of those things. You get to do that. But if you can't take the blindfold off long enough to choose it, then you're just running on a hamster wheel. You're not going anywhere. Indecision is like a stalemate. And before you can get past it, you got to decide. You got to choose. Then that takes us to the King of Swords, which is sometimes feels like a harsh energy. It's very logical, very methodical, very masculine. So King of Swords can often be like, I don't know, just harsh, yeah. But you ever, I'm sure you have, the phrase "it's for the greater good" really comes to mind with this energy because this is you stepping into your power. Just because you're a starseed and you're here to heal doesn't mean that everybody gets to walk all over you. Absolutely not. In fact, probably means you setting some very rigid boundaries in order to not absorb everybody's energy. King of Swords. So while it may seem somewhat harsh, especially if you're a people pleaser and you go from people pleasing to boundaries, you're going to feel like you're a monster, but you're not. You're not. You need to do whatever is necessary to fill your cup before you can pour into anybody else's cup. So if your cup is getting drained by all the people around you, you have nothing to give. Boundaries. That's where that comes in. Then goes over to this Three of Swords, Five of Cups. Whether this is you, whether this is other people, this speaks to the pain that you're healing. This speaks to heartbreak and sorrow and, crying in bed at night and mourning and loss and, endings and all of that heavy, dense energy. When you stay rooted in the indecision, which remember was that roadblock that we were talking about, then this isn't going anywhere because it just keeps hitting the roadblock. When you make the choice to step into your power, however that looks for you, and you let go of this roadblock, you then get to release this energy. All right, let's go ahead and clarify the Gazelle, which is the last card that we have. Two, three, four, five. All right, so clarifying the Gazelle, we have the Fool, the Devil, the Two of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and the High Priestess. In case you're counting, that's now 10 major arcana. Okay. Your devil, what's keeping you bound and stagnant and dragging you down, is your hypervigilance and your lack of willingness to be open and vulnerable and to receive, which comes from this lack of boundaries that you have. So every time you are vulnerable and open, you just get kicked into the dirt. Of course, you're hypervigilant, but it's keeping you stuck. And once you release that, the devil that's keeping you in the traditional Rider-Waite, there's a man and a woman and they're actually like chained in the card, and it's keeping you chained, like it's got a hold on you. But when you work through that and you find your power, you are going to be so aligned with the divine. Your intuition's going to be on point. You're probably going to have some sort of psychic abilities, whether that's clairvoyant or what, or maybe, you can read cards or whatever. Probably going to have like that inner knowing, and you're going to just step into this like shoulders back, head up, I can't be harmed energy. Because you can't. You are the divine. Nothing in this reality can really genuinely hurt you. Nothing. Isn't that a crazy concept? But it requires a certain level of connection with source to, reach that level of faith. And then we have the Fool, which is, are you ready? Are you ready to step into your purpose? Or we're going to keep sleeping in this overwhelmed, chaotic, stressed out cycle that you're in now? Or are you going to step into your power and in doing so start a new cycle? And this would be a new cycle for you, and this is also a new cycle for humanity in general, for all of us, because that's what light workers are doing, bringing the entire humanity into a higher vibration. And then we have the Two of Cups with the Nine of Wands. So the Two of Cups is the card of relationships, and the Nine of Wands is a card of passionate, very passionate, energetic, big, sometimes impulsive, like that kind of energy, like heart on fire energy. So, when you step into your power and allow Source to come in and walk into this new cycle, you are going to be so inspired and motivated and driven. Like nothing is going to be able to stop you because you're going to step into your purpose. And in doing so, it's going to just, right now, you are like swimming upstream. That's what you're doing, swimming upstream. But when you let go of that, you just float on. And then the Two of Cups, I mean, that's just speaking to, it can be, calling in your soul tribe and the people who authentically align with you, or it could just be the connections that you're going to make through the people that you're healing. But you're not in this life just for you. You're in this life for you, but for others too. So, hand in hand, those go together. That is what I have for you, Pile 3. I would love to know down below in the comments if you resonate with the reading. I love doing more spiritually in-depth readings. A lot of times it's like surface level relationship stuff like that. This is just such a treat to be able to dig a little deeper. So let me know any thoughts and opinions that you have in the comments below, and make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Bye.